The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
You are going to struggle in communication and with your marriage if you're not doing this consistently. I would say 2 out of 4 times a month minimum. If you give me the excuse of, hey, I can't afford to, or it's too expensive, then I will just tell you you're full of shit, and that's a good story. So you don't have to pay. I mean, like, I made a fruit and cheese platter, like, literally, and got a bottle of wine that probably cost me, between everything, $20, $25. We walked down to the beach, watched the sunset. There's a lot of ways, we had to get creative over the last 10, 11 months, from being locked down in our house, doing spa dates, to ordering takeout, things like that, coming to the office. We've kind of had to get creative in what we're doing.
Yeah, that's why I don't go to the office after Friday 5 p.m. just in case Jesse and Katie are in the office doing some work. You know what I mean? I did that for myself too, though, Jesse. I made myself in flatter because I was craving anyone to make it for me, so I'm going to make it for myself. We've got Brandon Morrison getting ready for his daughter's birthday party this weekend. Ooh, I have a little sister who's 9, so I know what those are like. Every year we get ready for her birthday, my whole family. Chad Jackman, we do date night every Thursday while the kids are in school. Smart man. Friday nights we do popcorn and Netflix. Love that. Nice. Awesome, Chad.
So what's the Netflix show, man? Right now I'm watching Cobra Kai. I'm kind of hooked on that. So that's
oh yeah, show. Chad, what are you watching? I watched Cobra Kai too. If you haven't seen it, or the original Karate Kids, watch those. Cobra Kai, it's like a drug. You will get addicted. I'm telling you that right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm on season 3 right now, so it's been good.
Sweet. Yeah, that's the last one.
Is it? And then it's over, or just the season ends?
That season 3 came out in 2021, and they released the whole season on Netflix. Okay. They got bought out by YouTube, or Netflix bought Cobra Kai from YouTube. So this is it. Last season. So this Friday, we're talking about more lifestyle habits. One thing I've had a problem in the past. This was actually before I started working with you. Ever since I started working with you, I've become super consistent, probably the most consistent I've ever been in my life. And it's changed my life dramatically. But one thing I had a really big problem on was actually maintaining my habits week to week, and even day to day. Every habit I had, I would be hot and then cold. It would be hot and cold. I would be on it for a week, and then I would be off it for a week. And that would be a consistent thing for me. And you do this very naturally, and it's something I've picked up also kind of naturally. But what do you do to maintain your lifestyle habits, not just your business habits, but your lifestyle habits consistently?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing is maintaining them comes down to understanding, like, what is the result that you're after. And so what does that mean? That means that like for any habit, for you to be successful with that habit, you have to understand what is the result that you're after. I can't remember what book that says this, but it talks about beginning with the end in mind. And I believe if we start
Mhm.
with the end result in mind, we can always reverse engineer a habit to help us get there. And so, that may look like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. But what is the habit or habits that are going to help me support that? Um, and so that gets me to begin to change my lifestyle as long as I keep it simple. Um, and so people often don't stick to their habits because they don't understand where their habits are taking them. The other side of that is they don't keep their habits simple enough to where it just makes sense for them to start doing those every single day.
Yeah, that makes sense now that I think of it. Because when I would go to the gym, I loved going to the gym. But I had a habit of just going to go because I knew that's what I was and you're supporting me in it, trying to gain weight, gain muscle, build mass on my 5'9" small frame Asian body. But before I didn't have a goal. So it'd be really hard for me to wake up and actually get to the gym, or I would get to the gym and I wouldn't train as hard as I am now. Um, that I made a habit of at least getting to the gym. It
Right.
didn't have to be something crazy, but at least I got there. Now I'm actually training with more intensity and consistently, which is something I'm surprising myself by. Because, like you said, you've helped me have the end in mind and also break it down daily, which is something I was missing. I didn't break down my end goal into small, tangible chunks that I can do every single day.
Right. And the other thing is just simply asking yourself, like, what do I want? And is this habit going to get me closer to it by doing it today, or is it going to get me further away? And when you can ask yourself a really simple question every single day, it's
Mm,
kind of like, man, if I miss today, it's setting me back one step. Okay. And that may not be that big of a deal. So remember, in habits, we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for consistency. And so what I always tell people is like, listen, if you showed up 80% of the time, chances are that you will accomplish no matter what you set out to do. The problem is um, people overestimate, what it takes to get it to the result that they want. And so in doing that, they make their habits too difficult. And what I like to think of a habit is like, hey, if I began with the end in mind, 90 days from now, a year from now, what is something that's going to get me one step closer to that habit? That's what I want to do every day. And I think people are like, hey, um, I want to take 10 steps today, not one step. And in that 10 step, what happens, you take that big leap and then all of a sudden you fall on your face. Um, and all of a
mhm.
sudden it's like, man, I can't keep up with doing this. And so then they stop. I would rather see someone take, one small step every day, because
Mhm.
I know that, after about 10 days to 2 weeks, they have some momentum and they're going to continue building on that versus that person that, you know, oh man, I'm on fire, I'm going to take like 10 steps today. And I always think to myself, okay, like this person's going to burn out in like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is something my dad would tell me is that people, when they set a goal, they would try to make a huge leap to their goal, and they would take the leap, and halfway through to their goal, they would get scared and be realize like, oh shit, like this goal takes more than I thought it would to get there, and they fall down, they go back into their comfort zone, and they harden their shell in their comfort zone and realize like, oh, I can't get my goal because it's too hard. I can't increase profit in my business because it's too difficult. I can't transform my body because it's too hard. I can't repair my marriage because I don't know what to do. And they have this goal and they fail every time, they fall short, and they just run back to their comfort zone. Actually done in my weightlifting, which relates to exactly what you were talking about, is I would before have a goal to lift a certain amount of weight, and I would try stacking on weight. I would put on a lot of weight and I would try pushing it. I couldn't get it, and I eventually thought it was me. I was like, I'm not right for this. These programs that I'm doing suck. These workouts are too difficult. And I eventually would stop. That's why I got so hot and so cold. And then now I'm actually just working on getting into the gym every Monday through Friday, and just adding 5 pounds to the exact same lift that I'm doing every week. Every week I'm adding 5 pounds and I'm making progress, right?
For sure. I think the biggest thing is like, hey, if I had a goal to lose 20 pounds, or something really basic like that, like the easy way to think of it is like money is tangible, weight is tangible. So those are always the easiest things that we can set goals on. But in doing that, if I want to lose 20 pounds, that's really only 8 pounds a month, which really breaks down to 2 pounds a week. The problem is we get frustrated if we don't see the results right away. If we don't see results in those first 30 days when we're doing habits, or even like that 3 week to 4 to 5 weeks, if we don't see results in that amount of time, then we don't keep up with our habits. And so I really believe that we got to be more committed to the habit than the result, if that makes sense. And so I believe people end up being more committed to their results than their habits, and that's where they mess up.
To that, that's huge. That's a very that's really great insight. I've gotten frustrated every time I've done something consistently. I'm like, I'm not getting anything out of this journal. Like, why am I journaling? I'm writing all this stuff down. I'm getting clarity, but I'm doing it every single day, but nothing huge is happening in my life. It's because I was writing a lot of stuff down, but not taking action in other areas in my life, the small action. You know what I mean? Same thing with my friends. Text them every day, send them messages, and I'm like, they're the same people. They're the same friends that don't reach out to me. Why is it not working? Give up, and I would stop being their friend. And that's how I've lost a lot of friends in the past. I would think that friendships, communication has to happen all the time, 24/7, every single day, versus just one time a day or one time a week to one friend. If every friend hears from me once a week, they know that I'm there for them. And it's actually transformed my relationships dramatically over the past couple months, actually.
Right. Well, let's look at it this way. So one thing that I watch people do is, like, somebody commented, Ed, I think, commented like, hey, I've been consistently training for a May triathlon. But what I will say is people are more committed to the triathlon than they are to the work it takes to do the triathlon. And so what does that mean? That means that all I'm focused on is, let's say that triathlon is the top of the mountain. That's the peak that we're going to. But people are more committed to the peak than the process of getting there. Okay. So like the process is, what do I have to do every single day to get to the peak? People are just focused on the peak. They're not focused on, putting their head down and saying, okay, listen, today the process is to take this one step. This one step may be, running. This one step may be swimming. This one step may be biking. And so they miss out on the step because they're focused on the peak, and then they actually don't ever move. They're like, man, I'm so far away from this peak, that I'm so far behind that they lose sight of the process that actually gets them there.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Brandon Morrison commented, more committed to habits than results, love it. And then Chad Jackman just commented, If you do mess up, think about this. If you walked outside and found your car had a flat tire, you wouldn't slash the other three and ram the car into the wall. So don't do the same with eating. If a donut accidentally falls in your mouth and then makes your way into your stomach, don't turn around and have a whole box and a cheeseburger and fries and milkshake and booze for dinner. Course correct and make the next choice a good choice.
And all of that comes down to, what do you want? What is it going to take for you to get there? Hey, does this donut get me closer to what I want? Further away? Does this cheeseburger get me closer to what I want or further away? Most people are unconscious to what they're doing. And so inside of doing that, like you said, if you popped one tire, logically, it would be really stupid to walk around and slash the other three. But if we don't remind ourselves what we want or where we're going, then we're just going to be like, oh, forget it. I'm just going to quit everything.
Yeah. Great comment, Chad. Thanks for sharing. This was Chad basically explained all of me in my fitness goals in the past. That's exactly what I would do. I was like, fuck, I ate a cheeseburger. Well, might as well throw a milkshake and fries on top of that. And if they're going to be fries, might as well be animal style fries, because regular fries are boring as fuck, So I would just pile on the junk and then just tell myself I deserve it. I worked hard Monday through Friday. I'm going to eat all this stuff in a weekend, and I would just destroy my progress. And I would carry that throughout like weeks. That's why I was more committed to having that dream body and realizing I couldn't get there, right? That apex of the mountain, versus just focused on getting into the gym Monday, getting into the gym Tuesday, getting into the gym Thursday, getting into the gym every single day has worked out way better for me than looking at the Spartans online and like, wow, I want that type of body,
Right. And so in doing that, you're more committed to the result than the habit. You're more committed to the peak than the process. So like, you got to fall in love with the process of what it's going to take for you to pull it off. I believe most people are committed to what they want, but they're not committed to what it takes to get there. And so in that, there's a huge disconnect in doing that. And that is, probably the single most important thing when it comes to a habit is you can't be more committed you can't be more committed to a result than being more committed to the habit. And so, we could just say this, listen, routines are greater than results. And in that routine, that was what actually gets me the result.
Yeah. So let's try something out. We have 6 people on live. I want, or we had 6 people on live, but comment something. What's a goal you guys are striving for in the next 3 to 6 months? And let's see if we can reverse engineer that into lifestyle habits for you guys, and then see what we like, how this actually works in real time, having a goal and then reverse engineering that into lifestyle habits. So if you guys have a lifestyle goal that you want to reverse engineer into lifestyle habits, comment that below and we'll get onto that. So we've talked about why people don't stick to the habits is because they're more focused on the apex of the mountain, right? Rather than the steps and the day-to-day work that it takes to get there. How do you make your habits, how do you ingrain your habits into your life and make your habits bulletproof where where nobody else can shut them down?
So a couple things on this. Number one is, we kind of talked about this, is keeping it really simple. You'll never do something continuously and consistently if it's not simple enough to stick to. There's this thing called leverage. And sometimes leverage requires us getting into a place where we have to actually put leverage on ourselves. And so if you really want to make your habits bulletproof, sign up for some type of challenge, sign up for some type of an event, sign up for some type of coaching where we have to make a financial commitment not just with our mouth, but we have to make a financial commitment with our pocketbook. We have a challenge or some type of competition that we're going to do. And that's the greatest way to put leverage on yourself so that you can begin to get results faster. So the ways that I've done this, make your habit bulletproof, is like, if I know I have to do a competition or challenge in the next 3 months, there's no way I'm going to miss out on my habits. If I'm accountable to a coach, then there's no way I'm not going to do the work. And that's really where, this comes into play is really, if you want to make your habits bulletproof, that's what you got to do.
So to make your habits bulletproof, you said to keep it simple, right? You said to keep your habits simple, not to overcomplicate them. You said to put down a financial commitment and also a commitment to somebody else, a coach or somebody that's going to keep you accountable. Because a lot of times we will give up on ourselves, but we won't give up on other people as easily, right? Or if we put money down, we won't give up on the money that we put down either, right?
Yeah, it's about putting leverage on ourselves. So like I've found for me, doing a challenge, doing a competition where there's an end, there's an end day of, hey, I have to compete or I have to do this challenge on this day, or leveraging a coach to help me get to where I want to be faster, but also one that's going to hold me accountable. Those are the two things. And then obviously keeping things simple. Those are the two things that are going to give you leverage and simplicity in a habit.
Awesome. Well, Brandon Morrison commented that he wants to pivot and grow his online business from zero. Brandon, you're in the right place, but at the wrong time. Fridays, we do lifestyle habits. We talk about lifestyle habits. Wednesdays, we talk about business habits. So if you want to check out our business training, you can actually look on this past Wednesday's training. We have that in our units section in our private Facebook group that you can check out. And look at our business habits training. And you can actually see some awesome business habits that you can do every single day to grow your online business from zero. So
yeah, and Brandon is in the
you brought that up.
Brandon's actually in the HBL Accelerator. He's brand new to the program. He's been in for about 2 weeks. So here's what I will say. Pivoting and growing my online business from zero is technically not a result, and it's technically not a habit. So the one thing I would say is this. Get clear on what is the result, whether it's to make 10K, 15K a month. And then we begin to reverse engineer the habits that it takes to get there. And so we focus on those. We don't necessarily focus on the 10K or whatever that is. And so those are the things that I think people get distracted on, is they're not clear on the result they want. And then in that, it messes up the habits that get us there.
So I also know when talking about habits, you have rules for yourself. You talked about how you won't miss a workout 2 days in a row, or else you're definitely not going to work out the third or the fourth, right? What are some other rules, or even elaborate on that rule? What rules do you set for yourself to make sure that you maintain your lifestyle habits and even your business habits on the day-to-day?
So I remember reading a book called Atomic Habits. It's an amazing book. And they had this thing called the 2-minute rule. And it was basically like, when starting a new habit, you have to do it in 2 minutes or less. The problem is people, would always think about, okay, well, if I only got to do it in 2 minutes, like imagine if I said, listen, Caleb, you're going to start your workout program and all you got to do for the next 5 days is 2 minutes each day. What would you say?
I would be like, wait, are you talking about working out for 2 minutes a day?
Yeah.
Like that. I would say that's very easy.
Okay. So in that book, it teaches you the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, you have to do it under 2 minutes. Okay. Because you're not going to say, well, I don't have enough time, which is the common excuse. So we start at 2 minutes. Now that book had the 2-minute rule, but it didn't really tell you what to do after that. What I've created is a thing called habit habit math. It's a formula where we start out with 2 minutes
Mm-hmm.
on any habit. So whether it's working out, I mean, there's no way for you to get out of that, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's journaling. And what we do is we go 5 consecutive days. Every 5 consecutive days that you've stuck to that habit, you can double the time.
Mm.
So after 5 days, you can go to 4 minutes of working out. After another 5 days, you can go to 8 minutes of working out. After another 5 days, you can go to 16 minutes working out. After another 5 days, you can go to 32 minutes. That means by day 25, you're at 32 minutes a day working out.
Mm.
Most people don't need to work out much more than about 30 to 45 minutes. So that means within that space of starting from day one to making it to 32 minutes, it only takes me 25 days to do that. But I've now made that habit stick much easier than me starting out at 45 minutes, me starting out at an hour, or telling myself I have to have an hour to work out. The problem with an hour or hour and a half is that half of the time you're using is most likely being wasted by either rest or you walking around, trying to figure out what you're going to do next.
Yeah. That's a great one. Um, I know that would definitely help me for my meditation, and a lot of people for meditation. That's super hard for a lot of people to sit still and really clear their mind and focus on their breath. But if you could do 2 minutes of meditation, that sounds way better to me than having to do like 15 minutes of meditation every single day. That's super easy for me to say. I can't do that. 2 minutes formula, it's easy to progress too. It sounds like it's easy to progress week after week, establishing a foundation of 2 minutes every day for a week and then moving on to 4.
Think about
I like
this
that.
is like most habits we have. If you took away working out, what habit do you have that takes more than 30 minutes or even 20 minutes?
Mm, yeah, me journaling takes about 10 minutes. I mean, cooking food,
But that's not really a
cooking healthy food,
okay.
meal
So
prepping.
look at it this way is think about if you use this formula, most of your habits, you'll be able to get to the time that you want. So like if I
Uh-huh.
want to do 15 minutes meditation, that really just takes me about 15 days to get to that place, 15 to
Mhm.
20 days. If I want to do, journaling, I mean, honestly, like journaling's 5 to 6 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes, which means that takes us about 15 days. Meditation, reading, 10 pages, whatever, it takes about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. So most of your habits you can get to in a matter of 3 weeks to 4 weeks and be at the allotted time you need. The problem is most people are like, dude, I'm not going to start at 2 minutes. That's way too easy. But what they don't see is what happens when you're consistent with that is that you will be at the time you want to be at in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks.
Not only that, but you'll be consistent all 3 to 4 weeks. Whereas some people will do the first week 2 minutes. Oh, that's easy. I'm actually going to do 4 minutes the first week because 2 is too easy. They do 4 minutes for maybe 5 days straight, and then next week, like, oh man, I actually don't have time this week. I'm not going to do it. And then maybe they pick up the week after, and they're still at 4 minutes, or they don't even do it anymore. That's what I did. That's why I was so hot and cold. Now
Right.
working with you, you've made it so easy for me to keep up these habits, even on Saturdays and Sundays. Really hard for me to not do them when I don't connect with myself, when I don't do something active. I feel like a completely different person.
Well, so the other
Yeah.
thing
So,
is we talked about never missing twice, which is another rule in that book. And it was like, hey, don't break the chain. You can break. So think about it this way. It's easier to maintain a habit than it is to start a new and to restart a new habit. It's always easier to continue
100%.
going into the gym than
Uh-huh.
it is to stop and restart. It's easy to continue on like healthy eating than it is to start and restart. So restarting takes 5 to 10 times more energy than it does to just be consistent. So I would rather someone focus on, you know, doing something for 2 minutes just to keep the habit than to feel like, hey, if I don't
Mhm.
have 30 minutes to an hour, then I just can't go work out. And then I got to restart all those things again. And that's where it can get really frustrating is we lack that consistency inside of that.
Yeah. Uh, so just to recap what we've talked about in the lifestyle habits, actually, before I want to say Brandon Morrison, I know Brandon one-on-one is when people want to work out, they want to do it consistently, but they have no idea how, which is why they've hired you as a coach to help them be consistent. If someone's struggling to be consistent, like I was when I joined CrossFit last year, if you broke it down for them, super simple, they would for them to get into the door, right? If you made it a goal for them to just get in the door, not even to push hard in the workout, they would come back every single day and then they can start slowly progressing. You know that, right? These are all these lifestyle habits we can transfer into our business habits as well. But I just wanted to recap what we talked about today because Jesse dropped a lot of great gold nuggets that we could take away, implement in our lifestyle habits, and enjoy this amazing weekend that we have ahead of us. So Jesse talked about why we don't stick to our habits, and we don't stick to our habits because a lot of times we're so focused on the top of the mountain, our end goal, what we actually want, versus breaking down the day-to-day steps and the small things that we need to do every single day to accomplish and actually get to the top of that mountain, right? Jesse talked about how to make our habits bulletproof. And we do that by making them super simple, where we can actually do them every single day. Our habits don't become vulnerable when we make the excuse of time. I don't have time to do it. I don't have enough energy today to do it. I have other plans, other commitments. We can make our habits bulletproof when we keep our habits simple, right? And then what rules can we implement in our life to make sure that we maintain these habits? One, we talked about doing the 2-day rule, right? We don't, Jesse and I do this, but we don't miss a workout after 2 days in a row. So that even counts the weekend. Weekend is 2 days. I better be in the gym on Monday. And then we also talked about another rule that we can implement, which is the 2-minute rule, which is if you're starting a new habit, you can actually start off by doing a habit for 2 minutes and then slowly progressing after that using the habit formula, doubling the time or adding doubling the time that you did the last week. So like if I'm working out and I want to start working out, go into the gym, work out for 2 minutes. And then after that, I can do, once I do that for a whole week straight, I can do that same thing the next week for 4 minutes, and then 8 minutes, 16 minutes, so on and so forth, until I get that desired time and consistency. Jesse, I recapped a lot. Is there anything that I missed or anything else that you want to leave everybody with before we end our lifestyle portion of this show?
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered pretty much all of it. I think the biggest thing is people struggle with consistency because of simplicity. If it's not simple, you won't be consistent. And if you don't know what you want or where you're going, then it doesn't really make sense for you to be consistent. And so when you wake up, do why you're working out? When you wake up, do you know why, you're taking your wife on date night? When you wake up, do you know why you're meditating? When you wake up, do you know why, you're doing the habit that you want to do? If you don't, then it's very easy to be like, okay, no big deal. Like, I'm not going to do this. Right. And so you have to really know what you want and why you want it. So then it makes sense to do that, because it just becomes a really easy question. Like, hey, does me missing a workout help me get closer to what I want or further away? Some days you may be like, man, I don't really feel like working out. But like, hey, what is one thing that I could do to move me forward in what I want. Maybe it's just taking a walk, or maybe it's, doing something different for a workout that makes sense. But at the end of the day, you still did something.
Yeah. That was me. That was me today. Definitely didn't want to work out. But my goal was just to get my foot in the threshold of the door. And I knew my natural instincts would just take it over from there. But Jesse, thank you so much for sharing with us all these amazing lifestyle habits and ways that we can continue implementing these habits in our lives consistently. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys joining on live. We appreciate you guys so much. And anyone watching on the replay, comment #replay. Follow along in the comments. Anytime we ask a question, we don't do it for us. We do it for you. We ask you these questions so you can answer and you can learn and put what we are sharing with you guys into practice into your life, because we want you to be more consistent as well, not only in your life, but also in your business. So, Jesse, you have an amazing Friday. Have an amazing date night with your wife. I'll be out of the office. I was going to say, I'll be out of the office. So the office is all yours after 5 p.m. Don't worry.
We won't be coming to the office.
Okay.
All right, guys.
They're going to the beach, guys.
Yeah, you need to go to, you need to take your wife on date night, or if you're a wife listening to this, you may want to grab your husband and be like, hey, you need to listen to these guys. Because that is the one thing that will help you definitely change your relationship.
Awesome. Sweet. Until then, we'll see you guys next Wednesday for Business Habits.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse